I want you to write me something. Sir. MashaAllah, Tabarak Rahman. This is where the performative thing starts. Nah, I'm joking. SubhanAllah.
I wish.
MashaAllah, Tabarak Rahman.
I was the main man.
You know, my guy's boxing.
The rest of the podcast is like this.
Do you have band-aids, by the way? Murrad, wallahi, I missed you, bro. I missed you, subhanAllah.
This is the first podcast I've actually been excited for. You know that?
For the better and for the worse, Murrad. For the better and for the worse. Because I've noticed, walillahi alhamd, that I started to be a bit more self-aware. I started to be a bit more appreciative of moments and conversations. And I look back to my episodes with another lens, right? With another pair of ears. But the thing is, I've noticed some things for the worse as well. One of them specifically is I'm having difficulties distinguishing between the performative self and the honest self. To be perfectly candid with you.
Of yourself?
Of myself only. No. I can see it through people, alhamdulillah, but I can't see it through myself.
I went through that for a period of time. As long as the performative component doesn't come from a bad place, I don't necessarily see it as a negative. And it depends what you're identifying as performative. So if it means that you're now adopting a certain approach,
Yep.
because you truly believe this is in everyone else's best interests and you want people to take away a lot of value, I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing to some degree. Because you want... and I think it's because there's an unfair playing ground where some people that are performative that don't have value to offer are able to hit and resonate with people more than yourself that has value to offer. So if there's a component of, if you're authentic, your 100% authentic self isn't the best for messaging, then so be it, as long as you're just trying to get the right message across. And that's even a perspective of da'wah, right? Where you're interacting with different people, giving different people da'wah, you have different approaches. That doesn't necessarily now make you a performative person, but you're just trying to resonate with whoever that individual is. So if it's not rooted in something selfish and the performative component is selfless, I don't think that is bad of the individual.
I 100% agree, and I really love the framing because it puts things into perspective and it introduces a component that people aren't talking about as often as they should, which is wisdom. Saying the right thing at the right place at the right time to the right person, right, in the right methodology.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, and the thing is, it doesn't take two people having worked in corporate to understand this, but even our colleagues. Nowadays it does. Exactly, nowadays it does. The thing is, like, just let's take a look at our colleagues, our different departments, the people that we're interacting with. The thing is, you can say something that is so obviously valuable and so obviously with good intent, but many people won't understand it that way and they take it the wrong way, and then hence you'll be dealing with some consequences. So sometimes there is a certain performative aspect that requires, be it protection, be it building net positive value, and so on. So I agree with you. Wisdom is a very important component.
It's really important, and I wouldn't necessarily say those people are performative. I think it's just very good at understanding the language of their stakeholders. Very important skills in terms of being able to showcase things like change in a positive narrative. Because let's say you want to implement something at work, you have all these different stakeholders that might need to come on board, people from different teams and things like that. So there might be a component where you're highlighting the security benefits to the security team, right? That doesn't now mean you're performative, because suddenly you've highlighted those areas that you traditionally might not be that interested in, and there's other areas of material gain for yourself. This is how you're able to make impact. Impact requires an element of being performative. And if you don't conform to that and you just think... Because I actually had an interesting question by one of my students.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry that I'm taking time away.
No, please go ahead.
Something planned, but one of my students asked me something interesting, and he's like, Murrad, I don't think the job market is truly meritocratic, because I have to now do so many components that you're telling me about. Whereas, if someone's a great candidate, they can still get ghosted by a recruiter, right? Whereas if I've now outreached the hiring manager, if I've now done all of these steps that you've spoken about, I might not be the best candidate versus someone else. And he felt like a moral qualm about that, right? Where he's like, oh, recruiters might hit me up, but, I sort of emphasize they've got hundreds of DMs and you have to stand out. And then I rephrased it. And I said, look, I wouldn't be in the position I am today if I'm not the best engineer in the world, right? Technically. Wish I was. But there's people in Google, Anthropic, there's people all over the world that struggle to land jobs here.
Exactly.
And I managed to do this with 4 years of experience to relocate and land a job here. And typically it takes people at least 10 if you look at these job descriptions. I was able to, in advance, form the right connections, network, outreach, all of these other components. And I said, for that very reason, you are the best person for the job. Literally for all those reasons is why you're the best candidate. Anyone can sit behind the screen and code all day. And if they are so concerned, if they choose to die on that hill where they don't want to play this game, they will be doing themselves an injustice in the long run, right? If you're, I know some amazing engineers that struggle in the job market, amazing technically, but they don't want to post on LinkedIn. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. And the gold is in the work that you don't want to do. So if you feel that uncomfortable to do that and you think everyone should operate based on your perspective, you're going to be in for a shock.
I love what you said. Gold is in the work you don't want to do. And the thing is, I quite heavily resonate with that, especially being someone who has been posting content for the past 1.5 years in some platforms very consistently, in some platforms like LinkedIn not as consistently.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, this guy's taking a look at my notes. Even page 4, like this crazy thing is like yes, it's not even visible right here. I actually wanted to address this part about the skill stack versus the job market, but this guy's lenses. I mean, I need to go to his optician. I mean, bro, are you kidding me? I mean,
X-ray vision.
I'm telling you, brother's Superman and all that.
Too much anime, man. Too much anime.
The thing is, I mean, I still think it's very interesting, subhanAllah, because it is one of the clips that I saw in my feed in some of the days leading up to this recording, talking about the skill stack of the individual in comparison to the job market. And I think we're going to have a very interesting conversation about this as well. You touched on a subject that I usually like to start season 3 usually. I like to start my episodes very recently with this. After getting a warm and wonderful feeling from this episode, which is with you, it's rather quick and instant, because Murrad, alhamdulillah, you are now the second return guest to the Barakah Blueprint. I can't even believe I'm saying this. I'm now, alhamdulillah, with the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Barakah Blueprint is now having return guests. And the thing is, Murrad, it's been a conversation that we've had for such a long time. You might as well have been the first if it had not been for like all of the things that have been happening and travels and everything, right? Allegedly, I've been traveling a lot, but
no, you have been.
Subhanallah al-Azim, Murrad. Reflecting back to episode 1, former episode 29. I loved our conversation. I loved our conversation before. I loved our conversation after.
So many people loved it.
Literally. I mean, the thing is, and I have to say, Murrad, you've been the most requested guest. You've been requested guest, sorry. Request and guest are rhyming. But so does Murrad with the Barakah Blueprint. You've been the most requested. And I'll be very honest, and I said it to you even before the recording started, I don't care. That's not the reason why I called you back, bro. Yeah. The reason I called you back, akhi, and God is my witness, is because I heard the story. Yeah. I heard the story of our friend, subhanAllah. And the thing is, because you posted him, and he even made this a post that has been shared. Suad, bro, I want to call you out and say, may Allah bless you, Ya Rab. May Allah bless your career. May Allah bless you in the path of success. May Allah bless you in dunya and akhirah. As your brother, as your friend, I mean, I have to give him this special shout out, subhanallah. What a warrior.
Yeah.
What a warrior. I don't want to expose too much, subhanallah. What a rajal. What a man, bro. What a man. The thing is like, and why do I want to talk about Suad? I don't want to talk about his story specifically because I don't know how much he's consenting to, but I want to talk about one thing, and I hope Suad is okay with this. Bro, the reason why I called you to this podcast again is because he told me a story where he went out for a jog and he happened to listen to the Barakah Blueprint. Ibrahim Sharif, who, well, let's face it, Barakah Blueprint is still being built. I'm building in public. Many things are not working as I want it to work. But Murrad, when he told me about him listening to this and it changed the entire trajectory of his life, bro, I broke down. When I was in Sweden last time I heard it, I broke down, bro. Literally. So, Murrad, من لم يشكر الناس لم يشكر الله. Who doesn't thank the people does not thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Murrad, thank you. I'm not going to end by thanking you. I want to start by thanking you. Thank you for having given me this fantastic conversation previously. And thank you for giving me your time again. I'm looking forward to what we're going to do, brother.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. Appreciate your kind words. And to be honest, I want to thank you because you're the one that actually initiated this. If this platform wasn't here today, I would have never met Suad. And that was a catalyst, right? A catalyst to something positive, a catalyst to changing someone's life. And I think sometimes we could be extremely disconnected and just see results as stats and figures. But when it's someone that we both know and someone that you can resonate with, you get the privilege of seeing the impact of it in person.
Ya Rab. Then in this case, let's start with the first chapter, which is Muraja'a, revision. I've learned something, subhanAllah, and with people I'm
going to have to stop you there.
Please go ahead.
I feel like... I feel like...
Oh, wow, something is going to happen right now. The Barakah Blueprint is being disrupted.
I feel like in order to make sure this is not performative...
Okay.
And people see the raw truth.
Are we doing this live? Oh, wow. We're doing this live.
We're doing this live.
VPN?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Right.
Oh, yeah. Not connected.
Yeah. Okay, this is going to happen.
Well. This is going to happen.
Okay. This is going to be very interesting.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing good. How are you, bro?
I'm good. I just had the pleasure of calling you. I'm with the main man and I'm talking to the main man.
Allahumma
I'm
barik.
talking to the new best DevOps engineer in Sweden.
Allahumma barik.
And I'm with a very good brother of yours, Ibrahim.
Yes, Suad, salam alaikum. This is a live episode from the Barakah Blueprint podcast. Suad, min bruder, welcome.
Salam alaikum, Ibra.
Wa alaikum assalam, brate.
Brate moj, kako si?
Dobro, brate, kako ste vi, habibi?
Alhamdulillah, ana bi khair.
Allahumma barik. Look at this, three languages in one take, subhanAllah. Suad, I'm recording with our beloved brother, Murrad. May Allah bless him, Ya Rab. We're actually in the middle of recording episode 46 of the Barakah Blueprint. We just wanted to call you in and ask Allah to bless you, Ya Rab, bless your family, bless your success, bless your wealth, and bless your health. And we just want to tell you that we talked about you and we're talking about you in goodness, and we ask Allah to bless you, Habibi.
Ameen, wayak. All of us, Sheikh.
Habibi.
All of us, especially you, my brother. You're the main man.
لا استغفر الله العظيم.
He forgets that he's too humble. Ibrahim is too humble.
You're really too humble, bro. You have such a pure heart, man. Ibrahim. Bro, you are the main man. You are the one you are the part of my story when I land in my role. I will never forget that, my brother. May Allah bless you for everything you have done.
آمين أجمعين. وما بكم من نعمة فمن الله.
Barakallah feek, Saad. Appreciate your time.
Saad, my brother.
Sorry for calling you.
No, bro. Jazakallah real pleasure to be here with you guys on this short session.
MashaAllah, Tabarak al-Rahman. Now, we now have an unofficial guest, Suad, MashaAllah, Tabarak al-Rahman, and Murrad made it happen. Allahumma barik.
Inshallah, I will be maybe official.
I'm waiting, but I'm coming to Sweden soon, Suad. We're recording together, just so you know.
Okay, perfect. When?
Let's keep that a surprise for you and for the guest and audience of the Barakah Blueprint podcast.
Okay. I can't wait, man.
I can't wait to see you, brother.
You too, bro. Take care, guys.
Saad, ma salama. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. Whatever blessing you have seen, whatever blessing you have encountered, whatever goodness you have observed, it's all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Murad, you just turned up the heat, man.
I had to let you know and everyone know, because everyone sits behind the screen. Everyone doesn't know the work that happens behind the screen. Everyone doesn't know the hours that, we're up doing mock interviews with Saad, prepping him, doing his projects. Everyone doesn't know the conversations that you're having and how this podcast reaches people in Sweden that's now changed their career trajectory and their life. People don't get to see the real impact. People just get to see views on a video. This is real life. Whether it's 10 views, 100 views, 50 views, thousands of views. That's a real person that has completely transitioned, got into a new career. I knew he was different from. Guess. There was one thing Saad did that shocked me.
Oh, tell me.
We had a in-person event in London.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah, look, people do travel to our events from Birmingham, Manchester. Some people come from Wales, and I'm like, oh my gosh, really appreciate. This brother caught a flight. From Sweden, got a hotel, stayed there for a few days just to spend time with and by the way, this is very early on in his journey.
Yeah.
This is very early on.
It was a week or something?
I think it was a few weeks
into literally,
a month or so. And this was last minute as well that we announced it. We didn't even give him like a few months notice to plan travel arrangements. This was like a few weeks notice, and he's like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to look at flights. I'm going to make it happen.
He made it happen,
subhanAllah.
And
alhamdulillah, he made it happen. And that just shows how much initiative he was taking on his behalf to try and do all the right things.
SubhanAllah.
And bro, his story isn't one where he joined and he was just technically talented and tech savvy. No, he was proactive. I remember like early on, he said one of the questions that he was struggling with. He made a post. He's like, oh, I'm struggling with these sort of questions. I'm new to this and stuff. I said, yeah, no problem. And I wish I could show it, or potentially I might send it to you. But this was in his first couple of days, first week. And I replied to him and I sent him a list of things that he should do or go about things in his learning because it's foreign to him. And I also tagged some brothers in that were ahead of him in certain areas. I said, look, you guys, make sure you're on calls with each other and helping each other. Alhamdulillah, he got embedded into the community from there and he's been an asset. And like, it's not just a career. It's not just a job. I almost feel like I'm speaking to a new person in terms of his growth. You've probably noticed that.
Of course. No. Not only do I'm sorry to cut you off. Not only do I notice that, Habibi, I know the guy. He hates coding. He hated coding. Bro, the guy was so far away from this. And he even admitted to me himself.
Yeah.
Sheikh, you turned this person, and bifadlillah, thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you turned this person from that profile to someone who in every technical interview, he just says, let me just share my screen.
Yeah.
And they say, La wallah, you answered our questions in advance. We have no question.
It was crazy. He's like, and this is where Saad cracks me up. He's like, Murrad, this is how interviews are meant to go. They didn't ask me any questions. He's like, I just shared my screen. I walked them through my project that I built, and they said, we have no questions. You've answered them all. And he's like, is this how interviews are meant to go? Oh. Alhamdulillah, was really happy for him. And it's well deserved.
You know what? This serves a perfect segue to something. I'm gonna leave the muraja'a until later at the end. Murrad, what grinds my gears, what really irritates me, is something that really irritates you, right? The guru movement, brother. the coach, guru, يعني self-proclaimed expert movement. And subhanAllah, this shows a clear distinction between the grifter and the builder, right? So the thing is, I mean, I've seen your clips, right? I've seen the rants. I've seen the comments that claim something about, let's say, Coder Co, for example. And I told you in the former episode, those claims are rather quickly nipped in the bud because people are immediately coming up and saying, "Hey, by the way, I'm not part of this, right? I've joined this session, I've joined this seminar." Like subhanAllah, for example, do you remember you talked about an event that took place, right? And subhanAllah, one of the brothers commented on my video in the episode saying, "Oh yeah, I'm that guy." So the proof presents itself, subhanAllah. One thing I want to ask you is, okay, because people don't seem to understand the difference. People don't seem to understand between like a community that builds value and a grifter. Please walk us through it. Akhi al-Habib, what is the difference between building something that actually benefits people and the coach and the grifter that says he has it all?
It's very, very hard to actually.
Yeah, I can see how irritated you are as well.
I get irritated by it. And the thing is, it's very subjective.
Yeah.
Because a grifter could actually see themselves as providing value.
Yeah.
Because providing value is a subjective term until you could quantify it, right?
Yeah.
As we have.
Yes.
We had a podcast back in September.
Yeah.
Not sure exactly when it went out. But within 6 months of that podcast being released.
Yes.
Someone has watched your video, joined my program and landed a job.
Yep.
That's legitimacy. That's the context that people might be missing. That's legitimacy nipped in the bud. So when I do come on your podcast, which I did, and I did say you can land a job within 6 months, that is a realistic time frame. And someone that and you don't...
That episode proved it.
That episode proved it. And I didn't have... Bro, I had no intention of that episode being social proof. I had no intent. When I came here, I didn't think, I'm going to go on this episode for this to happen, for this brother that you know personally back in Sweden to join my program, to then land a job to... There was no...
By the way, good plan.
It would have been...
I mean, fantastic. Spot on, brother. Have you been to Sweden, by the way?
I've been to Sweden once.
Really?
Very briefly, yeah.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah.
So he went to Sweden first, figured out someone, targets, right? So now we have the proof, right? Then he infiltrated the Barakah Blueprint.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, SubhanAllah. So, okay, the thing is, like exactly like you said, that episode was real-time proof that what you are building, mashallah, tabarakah, may Allah increase it and bless it, ya Rab. It's proof that there is a clear difference between the ongoing schemes and scams and grifts, right? And building something that actually makes a net positive difference with people.
Yes. I'm going to break it down.
Break it down, please.
I think that is a very loaded question when it comes to grifters. And I want to first break it down in terms of product value. You're a project manager.
Yes, sir.
You're going to love this.
Of course.
In terms of product value, let's separate a grifter from someone that actually provides value.
Yes.
Number one, and we'll break it down into something that you can attribute to grifters in order for people at home to be able to identify and effectively do their due diligence.
Okay.
Number one, the product in itself needs to correlate to the messaging that you're presenting people with. If the product... And there's different components from a business aspect that you could look at, be it the churn rate. These sort of components are often a reflection that your messaging wasn't in line with what you actually delivered.
Yes.
Hence why your churn rate is high. Irrespective of how much money you make, who cares? You're not delivering on a promise you made.
Exactly.
So that's where it all starts. You're making a promise to an audience. Everyone's watching me right now. If I'm categorically saying you could break into the tech industry within this niche, within DevOps, within X period of time, this needs to be something you could realistically deliver on.
Of course. So
people that pose the promise around something that is rooted more in reality rather than a hypothetical component, that is an important messaging area. So I don't use my highest testimonials. I don't use my anomalies. I don't really speak about people that have got their first job that is a 6-figure role. because that can be misleading to the audience. Even though these people exist, I can list names where people started on £95,000 plus, right? But these people are the anomaly. And you want to root your message into something that's quite realistic and grounded so people have a good approach. And I think it ties into the fulfillment aspect. Are you more invested in fulfillment or are you more invested in sales? Now, sales was a byproduct of fulfillment for me. It wasn't a marketing strategy. Majority of my sales is driven through word of mouth. It's not my heavy ads campaigns where I'm running down the street like an Alex Amosi ad or anything like that. I don't have any fancy marketing strategies.
Okay.
I was so product focused and service focused that the byproduct of focusing on fulfillment was everyone was like, oh, this is a no-brainer for me to buy. You know, let me tell my friends about it. This actually works. You know, we're in a world where like you do a course, you land a job, it actually works. So you're like, I need to tell everyone about this naturally.
Of course.
So when I focus so much on fulfillment, that's what allowed me to get to that place that I'm in today.
Okay.
And sales was a byproduct of that. I never envisioned, and even right now, I'll be completely transparent with you and the people that are watching. I could optimize my business a lot more if I was more sales driven than marketing driven, than fulfillment driven.
Yep. True.
A lot more, right? I don't need to be up at 3 a.m. on calls with people that I have an interview the next day. Who does that? which person that sells a program?
No one I know.
No one. I can't think of anyone. They're gonna be like, oh, I'm the CEO. I'm above people. You know, I got other people that are running this and doing this.
Most likely they're delegating someone to do it.
Most likely they're delegating.
If that's the needs to begin with.
If that's ours is all our services, by the way, is driven by the business owners that we offer. This is engineering led by the people that are the experts in the area. How easy would it be for me to outsource this? And how much time would I save and money for me to just hire some sort of contractor, tell them, you know, come give technical lessons?
So why aren't you doing it?
Because I haven't found someone that I genuinely believe can provide as much value as me.
Hence, you can't guarantee that your fulfillment has the optimal quality.
Exactly. And that would stop me from sleeping at night. Whereas some people are okay to compromise on fulfillment if it maximizes their sales. And by the way, my fulfillment is at a point where I can justify it. I have 1% churn. I could be like, you know what? Yeah, you know what? If my churn drops to 5%, not the end of the world. I'm still better than everyone else out there. But because I'm so fulfillment driven, I can't sleep at night. You know, even when people, and I think it comes from that doing things with ihsan and care, right? Where you actually care and you're invested in someone's success. I will tell you firsthand, this business model, this information product, this course seller stuff, if you're actually someone that cares about someone's success, wallahi, this is one of the worst businesses for money. This will make you lose your brain. This will make you have your WhatsApp list of 600 messages to get through. And you spend your all night going through making sure you answer all your students' questions on school. This will make you go through, oh, someone has an interview tomorrow, it's last minute. Oh, if I run a business, our policy is 48 hours notice, 72 hours notice. Sorry, I can't give you a mock interview. This is how businesses run. Of course.
Yeah.
But when you genuinely care about someone's success, I'm up on the call at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. with Osama. There's a time zone difference. We're 3-4 hours ahead here.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Do you get it?
Of course. And they have other contingencies as well, like work and school and whatever.
And I'm like, you know what? I could easily, and I'm more than justified. This isn't a bad thing.
Of course.
I'm more than justified to say, hey, if you can't work around my timing in this scenario, this is...
No, makes sense.
It makes sense.
Of course.
Because that's the value.
Not even makes sense. It's expected as a matter of fact.
It's expected.
Yes.
But because the care that I have is more than what makes sense,
Allahumma barik.
It poses that where I'm like, okay, I feel like if I don't help this person in this scenario, it's weird because you don't have control over things. Of course, you know, we don't have ilm al-ghayb, we don't have complete autonomy. This is all down to Allah.
Yeah, of course.
But there's a part in me that thinks if I don't help someone in this scenario and there's something extra they could have gained from me and they don't get this job, or something doesn't, and it's not my responsibility. I wouldn't be able to sleep well knowing that, okay, cool, I didn't give them that extra bit that I could have, or, you know, I didn't go that extra mile. And that's, once you operate on that premise and you're super invested in everyone succeeding, everyone that's reaching out to you, everyone that's messaging you, it's one of the most draining things I've ever done. Ever. Mentally draining, mentally exhausting. You know, I don't know how people could sleep at night with the responsibility that people are coming to you wanting to change their lives. You could put it down to sales, leads. You could see everyone as an individual lead. You can see everyone as part of your funnel, and they're just seeds coming into you.
Yes.
And you're qualifying them,
Yes.
and you're getting... You could have that perspective.
Yes.
And most marketing people would tell you that's how to approach things.
No, it's a trap I'm in, even, as a matter of fact. And I don't want to cut off your point, subhanAllah, but I think one thing we can agree is that at least a so-called grifter is going to be selling you an identity, right? A dream, an illusion, a facade, even, as a matter of fact. I mean, I've been on enough calls. As a builder, I'm a struggling builder. I'm trying to build something. I'm trying to migrate from an existing process, from an existing framework to another desirable framework, where I'm a business owner of a successful agency, a successful company, and I can sell a service successfully in a self-sustainable way, right? I've been on enough calls. I've had my gut feeling that has been rather weird and wrenching, right? And it feels to me that they're all following the same they're following the script, is what I'm trying to say. They're all following the same script, saying the exact same thing, having the exact same process, asking the exact same questions, as in, like, if you were to successfully reach this goal, how would your life look like?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it shows me very clearly that they're selling you your ideal version that may or may not exist, right? Yeah. Whereas an operator is selling you a process, selling you a framework, giving you a clear, distinguishable path, a clear workflow of actual tangible data that you're following. Maybe I'm incorrectly describing Coderco. Generally, this is my understanding of the process, how it is, not for Coderco specifically, but for communities and groups and there are many, Allahumma barik, that are doing very, very well in terms of generating actual net positive value, right? I want to ask you something, Murrad. Feel free to interject and cut me and even have your spin at this. But I have, as a struggling builder, I'm having trouble accepting something you're saying. I'm having trouble accepting the fact that I have to be undeniably fulfillment driven. Even though what you're saying makes complete sense. Bro, I called my company Itqan. Excellence in craftsmanship.
Yeah.
It literally means to focus specifically on fulfillment. That's literally what it means. رحم الله امرئ عمل عملا فأتقنه. It's a hadith from Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وكما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. So the thing is, the sunnah is telling us to be fulfillment driven. You're following the sunnah technically. Tamam? But the thing is, bro, is testimonials I'm seeing. Okay? Everyone is pushing their best testimonial forward.
Yeah.
The anomalies, like you called it.
Yeah.
What you're saying makes complete sense. To keep churn rate at as minimal of a rate as possible. You want to show, okay, well, the average Joe that puts in the hours, that has skin in the game, that does this, and this, will achieve this very logical and reasonable result. Sure, you're going to have your senior Amazon DevOps engineers and your Google Cloud engineers and all of them folks that earn the 6-7 figure salary. But for some reason, you're not choosing to push them.
No.
I don't understand that, because I would have done that.
Even someone recently landed a 150k salary.
Allahumma zid wa barik.
Allahumma barik. And there's a few reasons. Number one, I'm concerned that it could attract the wrong type of person.
Okay.
So it can fall into attracting people that, perceive this as a get-rich-quick scheme, that have that perception of, oh, you know what, if I do this, I'm going to obtain the same results, which isn't how life works, right? You're not guaranteed anything in that sense. That's why I get so... One of the biggest things that indicates a grifter is guarantees.
Oh, yes.
How can you guarantee anything? Like, brother, you might die tomorrow. What do you mean, guarantee? Like, you know, when people say, oh, I guarantee this, and you get lifetime access. Lifetime. Allah, you don't know your lifespan, bro. What do you mean lifetime access? What do you mean? You know, when people are asking me about lifetime access, I'm thinking I might die tomorrow, bro. What do you mean? I'm thinking that's a big responsibility, in a lot of senses. But I see certain things when people want to offer certain guarantees, and you know that. And guess what happens? And I've been on a lot of these calls as well, even when using third parties. They offer you a guarantee, then you get the contract, and it's like, yeah, you need to do 8 hours a day, to be eligible for the guarantee, for the refund. And they'll just have so many hidden conditions. But when they market it, they'll be like, yeah, you're guaranteed to achieve X amount. I find it so crazy. Even how can you guarantee anything from an online coaching service? How? Even if you're a PT, how are you going to guarantee that I don't stuff my face with McDonald's at night? You know, how are you going to guarantee any? And that's why these things are used in a very performative aspect from a marketing standpoint. And then behind the T's and C's, there's all these intricate things that actually make it nearly impossible for you to get your guarantee.
The thing is, like, even as a project manager, I would never offer guarantees, even if the scope is clear.
Yeah, exactly. But you know why?
Why?
Because you come from a corporate background. A lot of grifters don't. We have to learn about T's and C's. We have to learn about consumer rights. We have to learn about managing expectations, from the client. We have to learn that, if you go on to a next job or you do another contract, your reputation in the space is everything. The space is incredibly small. There's so much value that you gain from working a corporate job that a lot of people don't gain. And they just think it's a free market.
Murrad, I love you, bro. The thing is, look, my screen is not even on. I know for a fact you can't see my notes. Wallahi, my next question was about corporate roles and how they are connected to business building. This guy, that's why I love talking to you. I'm telling you, that's why, subhanAllah, this, great minds think alike, subhanAllah. And I actually feel happy because this reflects well on me. So, okay, the thing is, Murrad, Akhil Habib, most of these grifters do not come from a corporate role. I watched a video of yours very recently, actually. You said something that is very interesting, and I don't agree with you 100%. I agree with you 1,000%. Do not start a business before you go through a corporate role. That was literally 100%. The title of your video. Yeah. And I couldn't agree more in terms of the value you're getting, the understanding of processes, and the transferable... Okay, let's try again. The transferable skills that you get, right? Okay, let's start. Let me ask you, okay, what high value skills would I get from a corporate role that would help me build a successful, scalable, and sustainable business?
You increase your problem solving skills.
Okay.
Number one, your soft skills, and soft skills tie into many components. Be it managing expectations from stakeholders, being able to propose changes in an effective way, being able to receive criticism.
Oh, yes.
Insensitivity towards criticism. Because at the end of the day, no one cares. And when you're in your business, you start to realize, oh my gosh, I'm going to get customer feedback, right?
Yeah. And shipping features under constraints.
Yes.
Like literally, yeah.
All of these different components that you learn. And guess what the best thing is about the corporate job?
Tell me.
Is you get to pick up all these skills as just an observer.
Yeah.
Without the risk.
You're actually right, subhanAllah.
You get to pick up all of these skills with minimal risk. Your biggest risk is gross misconduct and losing a job.
Literally.
Which you shouldn't be doing.
Of course.
For the most part, there's very little you could do that has a negative impact in your personal life.
So the rewards highly outweigh the risk.
Always. And you get to see a business from an organic perspective.
Working like a normal human being. Yes.
Yeah, provided you're a normal human as a prerequisite, because there might be...
Well, thank you for the caution.
Yeah.
Can you start with that next time, please?
Yeah, let's start with that, because...
Don't sell me something in an unjust way. Like,
if you're a normal person...
I'm going to leave a 1-star review for Coder Co. Remind me, guys, to do it afterwards. Allah protect you, Ya Rab. You're so right. I mean, like, even the understanding of P&L.
Yeah.
Literally. And the thing is, you don't need to fail at businesses and like build failing models.
I hate that.
You don't need to do that, right?
I hate it when a business guru comes online and is like, I failed 8 businesses before I made a profitable business. Well, yeah, because you probably didn't have any good skills at what you're doing. You're probably very incompetent at what you're doing. Even when, like, don't get me wrong, there's some things that happen that is out of your control. But for the most part, you're meant to follow the path of least resistance, right?
Yes.
Build a skill.
Yeah.
And by the way, jobs is what is historically proven to be how people make money in the past 100 years and achieve some sort of financial security. But look, you build a skill. Mm-hmm. Typically, if you and you get good at it.
Yeah.
Sorry, like for the grifters at home, you have to be good at what you do, not just sell it, right?
Thank you. Well done. Yeah, and I tried. يعني, he got me.
You have to be good at your skill. Uh-huh. You're generally going to be compensated well if you get good at a particular skill. صح. If you're now being compensated well, that means that the skill you have is typically high revenue generating. If you're making a 6-figure salary or even a good salary in the 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever it is.
Yep.
That means you're generating the company typically quite a bit of money, indirectly or directly. Okay. You have a valuable skill. Or else companies aren't paying a lot of money for a skill that isn't valuable.
Yes.
You can now leverage that skill and use that to monetize. Now, I'm not saying it is directly transferable, where if you're a management consultant, that you could just start your own management consultancy firm tomorrow and win bids. But you have the transferable skills in which you could start doing things on the side and leveraging that. Rather than this notion that I'm an 18-year-old, I have no skills, but careers aren't great. I don't want to be stuck in the matrix. Let me try drop shipping. Let me try e-com. Let me try trading. Let me try things that you have no skill set background in. Build a skill. And there was one person, and it was one of those videos where it's like, oh, what do you do for a living?
Yeah?
And there was one that resonated with me, and he was this guy super successful. And I made a video on it as well. His net worth was in the excess of 50 million. Okay. He's like, I started off as a broker in insurance or something. I got very good at that. And then I made my business around what I got very good at. He's like, that's what young people need to focus on. Because when you get into a business and you have that job and you get that organic exposure to how that business runs. Oh, there's a HR department. Oh, conflicts of interest is important. You know, rather than what we see now when a grifter will throw out some nonsense that I'm thinking, you don't even know about the lawsuit you can get. You get, they haven't filed their
liability that's coming up, man.
Their VAT's been overdue for years and they don't even know they need to submit that, you know? They've got a massive tax bill that they weren't even aware of. They've got compliance issues. They've got consumer rights problems. And my thing is, just focus on being a subject matter expert at something.
Yes.
And then just leverage that.
Or you can start selling courses. The thing is, though...
That works too, to be honest. Sadly,
Perfect.
but it works.
Actually... Yeah, I'm getting ideas. But let's keep things valuable for now. Okay, so... Completely agree with you. I was thinking about something as well. So, like you mentioned before, we don't push the anomalies, right?
Yeah.
We don't make the anomalies the standard.
Yeah.
Now, there is an anomaly to this as well. I mean, you have your jobs, your gates, all of the profiles that not only did they not go through corporate roles specifically, many of them didn't even go through school in its right, conditional, standard workflow, right?
Yeah.
And still they were able to build what they built. Again, I completely recognize...
Very good question.
Yeah, I mean...
that's a very good question.
Definitely.
And you should draw me out on that.
I want to make it even more complicated. Okay? Because, bro, because I love and respect you as a brother, bro, I want to challenge every single thing you have.
As you should.
That's why I'm going to get the most value from you. Tamam?
As you should.
So let me make it even more complicated. طيب? Okay, they are the anomaly, we agree.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And I know, subhanAllah, you specifically, out of all people, I know you will chime in very well in this question. For when I look at anomalies, I recognize that there are anomalies.
You can tell this guy's a good problem solver. Carry on.
Project manager, unfortunately. Blessing and a curse, as they say. When I look at anomalies, akhi, I recognize that there are anomalies, but I also recognize there is a pattern. Life has tendencies to show patterns, right? That is why certain school communities, for example, Coderco, have like record low churn rates because there is a process, there is a pattern that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So while these personalities are anomalies, I think there is a pattern of a skill stack that one needs to have in order to make their business as successful as it probabilistically can get. Because like you said, I mean, if you're an experienced KPMG consultant in, let's say, tax advisory or tax compliance and whatever, okay? While you may not necessarily have a successful tax advisory consultancy, their probability of success is larger than yours and mine.
100%.
So what skill stack is the best and the most efficient and the most sustainable to have in our day and age today for us to build a successful business?
In today's day and age.
Oh, yes, because I'm going to build on something later.
And these skills have to be purely business focused, I assume, and not necessarily just mental related skills. So
preferably business related.
Okay.
But the thing is, I think you're onto something. And I love that you phrased that. Many of those skills that have a mental focus or a mental basis are crucially necessary for business building. So I'll tell you what, break the constraints, break the frame of the question, answer it however you want. I want to get value, bro.
Okay. So that question is very interesting because I used to think about it quite a lot. And in fact, when I started meeting business owners, I started realizing I'm not getting the answer I wanted from that question, because I quickly realized this person's making millions and they don't know what the hell they're doing. They're not the most tech savvy person.
Of course.
They're not necessarily good problem solvers. They probably have people management issues too, right? And I see all of these, they traits of narcissism, whatever it is. And I've always come from that lens, especially with a corporate background, that entrepreneurship means you need to be incredibly innovative.
Oh, yes.
You need to be a genius. You need to do something new. You need to, transform the world. You need to go to YC Combinator with this insane idea and get big startup funding, And then I'm just meeting random people that do random things, and it seems incredibly
He got
simple.
rich from toilet paper.
Yeah.
Literally.
I sell toilet paper. I sell sugar. I do this.
Literally.
I transport this. I know someone. I met someone that was doing that, and then I met up with her, and then I started doing that, and then I couldn't do it all myself, so I had to hire someone that could do. And I'm just like, I have to map out an entire system design to to go about my business. Now, what I would say is important skills. I'll say being a good problem solver.
Yes.
Goes a very long way, because it allows you to actually take initiative in a lot of areas and dive into things yourself. If you're not a good problem solver, it could actually feed into a lot of negative traits where you start to feel overwhelmed, you don't know what to do, and especially at the start, early on with a business, you don't necessarily have that infrastructure support to enable you, right? You don't necessarily have a lot of employees. And so if you're stuck, you're stuck.
Yes.
Another thing I'd say is insensitivity to criticism.
Wow.
I think that is really important, because a lot of people, they'll come up to me, they're like, I have this business idea that I want to start. And they all feel entitled to a motivational response.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you're reminding me of some recent conversations. I'm not gonna cut you. So, sorry. Go ahead.
But a lot of people feel entitled to a motivational and agreeable response.
My heart is burning, by the way, as a matter of fact.
Sorry, bud.
No. You're so right. But why is that the case, by the way? Why do people feel entitled to a motivational response? Literally.
I think number one.
I think because their coach told them to.
Yeah. Probably their coach told them. And I think it's because of the narrative that they feed from business. Business seems, online when you consume a lot of content, that is.
Yes.
It seems to be something that is just to do with you trying your best, and it should all work out.
What a utopia.
What nonsense at the same time.
Literally.
And there's this constant narrative around feedback that stops people from being able to receive feedback. Oh, I started this business and no one believed in me. My family didn't believe in me. I'm now a millionaire. Well, I dropped out of school and I did this and it now all worked out.
Buy my course.
Shame on buy my course. Shame on everyone. I was doing this. Not even my own family believed in me. Well,
yeah, shit.
Because it didn't make sense at the time. Because your family had reasonable concerns. Your family didn't want you to drop out of university for something that is unlikely to succeed in. Just because you're the anomaly, you don't push this narrative. Because for every person that tells you, I was cleaning toilets and now I'm a 7-figure business owner, 8 figures. The queue out of the job center is insane. But they're not there posting their content. Hey, Ibrahim, I'm at the job center. I dropped out of university. You don't get to see that perspective. That is reality. Not this person online. Oh, I've got this. I'm inspirational. No. I'm in this rental. Oh, this, that. That isn't reality. Reality is people have healthy objections to you.
Yeah.
People that critique you, it doesn't mean everyone's your enemy. You need to have that insensitivity to criticism. And the tech world is one of the best places to get that.
Oh, yes.
Because any code you make, you're being critiqued.
Oh, yeah.
Straight away.
And as you should.
As you should. You're from day one, you're being critiqued in every component of your job. You know how insane that is? Every day, a code, any bit of work that you do gets approved. Pull requests in your code and things like that you've seen. And there's comments. And some of the comments, you're like, oh, this person's nitpicking, but I need to change it. And you build that insensitivity to criticism. And a lot of the time, even I've experienced objections. I remember when I was... changing from my first job and making a career transition. Okay. My parents are like, are you sure? You did a degree in mechanical engineering. You're going to throw that all away to change it. Yeah. Valid concerns.
And on top of that, you're going to leave notes from the interview at the boss's desk. But okay, go on.
Yeah. You got me in trouble. This guy, oh my God.
I remember. The Barakah Blueprint remembers.
You've been bringing out too much, bro. You've been bringing out too much from the woodwork. I don't think people know. I exposed myself on the Barakah Blueprint on the last episode about how when I was making my career transition, I had to sneak into my boss's office in order to take an interview. Because it was last minute.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I had notes on...
He sent you the WhatsApp message,
Sent me a WhatsApp message of it. Guess what the crazy thing is? He commented on the video.
No way.
Wallahi.
You have to show me that.
He commented on the video.
Legend.
And that's when I was like... And he just sent an emoji. And I was just like... I'm so sorry, man. I was just like, bro, I'm just so sorry, man. So yeah, if you guys are making your career transition, don't leave your notes in your boss's office. But
that's a good lessons learned, though.
Yeah.
The thing is, subhanAllah.
But my boss wasn't a hater. You know? But this is just, people have their natural concerns. He was even having conversations with me about my career. It's like, are you... this could be a great place for you long term and things like that. And it's valid. Even when I moved jobs, my brother was like, you're moving jobs again? You've only been there for like a year.
Yeah.
This could look bad. I don't think you should take this offer just because it's more money. What if you come across as a job hopper? He might not necessarily understand the industry that we're in.
Yes.
Where it's supply demand in the tech space. It's normal to change companies. He might be from a different industry where that could have a very negative stigma.
And Zlatan Ibrahimovic played for Juventus, Inter Milan, Milan, Barcelona.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, I think you're right. I mean, everything is a matter of paradigm, no?
Yeah.
Everything is a matter of paradigm, subhanAllah. Because I think in the tech space, this shows that you're an attractive player in the market.
Yeah.
Especially how you conduct yourself in the recruitment process, like how you stand out. And I can imagine, especially for someone like you, Allah Mubarak, is not necessarily you applying to roles as much as I would commend that and even recommend that. It's also a lot of like you being attracted to roles by the actual hiring team saying, hey, we saw your profile.
Yeah.
Would you mind just taking a look at this?
Yeah.
Which makes complete sense, right? And I just want to end something on the benefits of having a corporate role and how that builds your business profile.
This is the problem when two people get along too much.
And
the ADHD is high. We could go in any direction.
ADHD is AD4K, Habibi, first of all. Okay. And the thing is, I have to say one thing as well, subhanAllah, because I really need to get your take on this.
Yeah.
Bro, as much as I would commend a corporate role, because I am in one, alhamdulillah ya Rabb, and praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and something that I absolutely love, by the way.
Same.
As much as I
Same.
do have
I'm
my
still
criticism,
in my corporate job, by the way.
As you should, subhanAllah.
Which I don't need to be.
You don't need to be, as a matter of fact, subhanAllah. And that's another topic I want to bring up as well. And the thing is, as much criticism as I have and the thing is, nothing is a utopia. Nothing is a dance on roses. You should criticize stuff, right? Yeah. And as much criticism as I have on my, some of my things in my day-to-day, right? I'm still very, very grateful for the value I'm getting, and I'm still looking forward to work, right? But there's one thing that something I'm having trouble wrapping my head around, right? And I have a perceived understanding of corporate roles. I want to present that perceived understanding to you. I want to see what you make with that assumption. And I want to challenge the statement, you need to be in a I'm not gonna paraphrase or misquote you. You are better off starting your business coming from a corporate role.
100%.
Tamam. I want to challenge that statement. Being in a corporate role indirectly teaches you things based on the nature of that role.
Yes.
For example, being more risk averse than risk tolerant. Right? Ya salam. Ya
I was
salam.
literally thinking that.
Elastico.
It's
right?
crazy.
And the thing is, I would say one thing as well, even though this is not a theme for every single role, but many roles have a similar theme, Murrad, which is following instruction rather than taking initiative, if the two were to outweigh each other. I would say, first of all, the first part of the question, do we have a shared understanding of that assumption? And if so, how could one navigate through this, unlearn these potential byproducts, and take their transferable skills with them to, build that brand and build that coder co, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So I think that's just a trade-off that you need to accept. And I think I'm relatively someone that is actually kind of risk adverse. But I don't think we live in an era where you need to take crazy risks. I don't think this narrative that gets pushed that you need to go against the grain and start this business and drop out from your job and risk it all and you only achieve results through immense risk. I don't think so. I think you could offset that, and there's so many enablers nowadays, like when you use AI, the whole concept of having a 5 to 9 outside of your 9 to 5. That's how I started. I didn't take any risks. I didn't have to compromise anything. All I had to sacrifice was time and effort at the start. No risks. I did my 9 to 5 job, and afterwards I spent my entire evening helping and teaching my students get into roles. And I was able to do that effectively. No risk. So I think sometimes people have this illusion of risk.
Yes.
And I would say one thing that does offset risk is actually being good at what you do. If you have a high skill set at your particular career in your particular area, you don't even mind the risk. Because you're like, I could just, what's the worst that could happen? I go back and get another job. If this doesn't work out. So I think to all my friends, because I have a lot of corporate friends, and even in Dubai, more people have corporate jobs than are business owners, of course.
Actually, yeah.
But that will sound weird to say, because online you'll only see business owners. Yeah, so the results is actually people that have actually moved here, done hijrah, and had a successful life. Majority of them have jobs.
Data speaks for itself.
Not everyone, the data speaks for itself. And I have friends that I've spoken to about this, and it frustrates me where they don't try something that they're more than capable of trying, and they're really risk adverse. I'm like, you guys have so much to offer. Like, you're thriving in your careers, you're doing great, but I guarantee if you just redirected energy a bit into something else, into doing your own thing, you're going to see insane results. And then you have all your cards in the table and you can make an informed decision. Do you want to leave your job or not? Do you want to do this full time because you enjoy it more? Finances isn't a problem. You start to get the luxury of making decisions irrespective of money now. You don't feel tied to a sense of security. So I think that risk adverse component isn't a huge issue if you're willing to put in that effort in your 5 to 9.
The only sentence and the only word I would say out of everything that you have said that I would disagree with is that it's not about building an insensitivity to feedback. It's that you should even attract feedback.
Yeah.
Literally, bro.
Yeah.
And I know you
Which
and
is
I agree
something
with
you
this.
do very well.
The thing is, wallahi, we try. Bro, wallahi, I have no choice, man. I need to build something and I have nothing, right? I
No,
have to.
you have a lot to offer. I don't agree with that statement. I have to pull you up on that.
I appreciate that.
I don't agree with that. And I feel like generally the people that have more to offer are the ones that are actually more humble and have a lot more humility and actually seek advice. I actually experienced that in Abu Dhabi Finance Week.
Ooh.
I don't want to shout the brother out, or it was insane because we were having a conversation where he was asking me so many questions.
Uh-huh.
And he seemed really interested in what I do. And he was showing a lot of interest in what I do.
Barak.
And you know, sometimes when you're here in these sort of environments with a lot of business owners, you sometimes see it as peacocking.
Oh, yes. Oh.
Everyone's like, I make this amount a month. I make this amount a year. I do this. I do that. My business does this, right? So what was really interesting to me... Oh, you've got a peacock? He pulled out the peacock.
Go on. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what it could feel like. And this person was asking me so many questions. And I thought like the dynamic was he was looking to get value from me. And I thought, he doesn't sound like he has much to offer. He's just really interested in what I do, always asking me questions and things like that. I don't really know what he does. When I asked him, he just said he has this startup. But everyone has a startup nowadays, you know?
Yeah.
That's the perception that I adopted because I'm used to this. I'm used to people doing this when they have a business and they talk.
Yeah.
So when there was none of these feathers and it was just this,
Ah.
I then found out this guy is like Forbes 30 under 30. I went home, came across his LinkedIn and everything he built, and I was like, this guy has such a humble character. Like, he spoke to me like he's any other person, expressed so much humility. Was like, yeah, you know, we can meet up when I'm down in Dubai, we'll go out, we'll chill. Like, very, his akhlaq was so amazing.
Allahu Akbar.
And then I was just in shock, and I was like, sometimes in social media, we believe that this is what running a business looks like. And it's far from it.
That's the misconception that I have right now, as a matter of fact. And it's something that I'm trying to unlearn, Murrad. Speaking of stars, have you heard about it? Okay. No, but seriously though. Okay, Murrad, seriously. I think, subhanAllah, the difference between many people's path to success, or you know what, that sounds very cliche. I'm going to rephrase this, I think, Murrad. Bro, I think the difference between many people's wins and products in their journey is their tolerance to the boring work. I'm trying to understand that and learn that myself. So, Murrad, I want to ask you, to all of the builders out there, Firstly, myself. What is one repetitive, high volume, or even mid volume if you want, boring task, boring work, boring habits that is a non-negotiable, that you put yourself through in the past to build what you have, arguably even doing it right now?
Being very, very data-driven. Constantly looking at the data and what it says.
Bro, I'm bored hearing this, so Danny, that means you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
But can you expand on that, please?
So, I'd create dashboards and try visualize every component of my business and its performance relative to certain KPIs. Very boring. But I'd want to make sure, okay, you know, has X amount of students completed X amount of course over time?
Yep.
If they haven't, why haven't they? Right? What does the data show someone's most likely to succeed? What does the data suggest that person even looks like? Right? So I think constantly looking at the data in each component in my business is boring. You know, how employees are performing. You know, I personally don't want to spend time looking at those things, but you will end up micromanaging if you don't have a good structure of the data presenting you what's actually happening. Like, I'm really not into that stuff. People management, you know, always checking up on people. I love you guys. All my employees are gonna think, bye. Don't get me wrong.
Here we go again.
But the last thing I want to be doing in that sense is constantly looking at dashboards, seeing what the revenue's at, seeing the amount of people that are landing jobs, seeing what's happened, what trends have dropped. So looking at the data dailies are non-negotiable. How many videos have been posted out? By who? When is it done? Just all of those meticulous things. I just go through it all regularly.
Tied into that, because I
could do more of the flashy stuff, but I make sure I do.
You're still not, subhanallah. Still, you're not. And I still think it's one of the smartest business models, because you get your, not that you're doing it willingly, but you're getting your testimonials and your students to do it for you, because it makes sense.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's enough for them to say, hey, just so you know, I started with a non-technical role, with sub-zero technical understanding, and I learned this role. And by the way, the interview process was nothing.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm still wrapping my head around it.
Yeah.
I need
And by the way, that's not only him. A lot of people say that. You can imagine.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine, subhanAllah, because I, by the way, Habibi, I've seen your community.
Okay.
I've delved deeply into the community, Allahumma barik, and I've seen like what people have gone through, even the mentors that you have in your space. By the way, Allahumma barik, the things that I keep hearing about, the brothers, mashallah, tabarak ar-Rahman, I just want to say, may Allah bless them, ya Rab. Seriously. They seem to have a theme. Bro, the entire team has a... there's an accent, or there's a theme that I love, which is the pure, selfless will to just help their fellow man.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Just like from hearing what Suad went through, and he told me, like, you know, there was a brother, may Allah bless him. Like I would sometimes late at night just tell him, oh, I don't understand, I'm struggling with this, and he's like, dude, chill.
Yeah.
Getting in a call.
It's something cool, yeah.
And he fixes subhanAllah.
And I probably don't even know who that brother is.
But before all of that, the thing is, I trust you, by the way. I believe you, right? Because there's no this. There's not so much of this, right? It happens in and of itself. I want to go back a little bit. Because, okay, I have an understanding, by the way. Please correct me if I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
Codeco was built in public.
Yes.
Beautiful. I have two questions. First question. Take me back to the first 10 members. How did you get them, and how did you nurture them?
So this goes back a few years.
Ooh.
Which a lot of people don't know. They just see the end result. It looks great.
That was after you were not allowed to play football after work, or...
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah, my manager. Another shot at him. But it stems back to The Engineers, which was a non-profit tech community that I founded, which we were running for a few years, and we got a strong insight into what people needed, and supporting people from a free capacity for years.
Mm-hmm.
So the launch for the community was driven from a perspective of us very familiar with the power of a community, because it became one of the largest non-profit tech communities at the time. Grew to over 4,000 members in the UK, and we understood the power of community-based learning. And if we're able to get people on the same mission, because one of the hardest things about this journey is doing it alone. That's where everyone falls short. You don't have much guidance. You feel like you're the only one experiencing these things. You think it doesn't work. That's why representation is so powerful.
Oh, yes.
Because whoever joins Codeco, within the first minute, they're probably going to go on the success stories and see, I have to scroll pages and pages and pages. Oh, this person was a receptionist in the NHS. Oh, this person was working customer service. Oh, this person... In fact, there was one person that joined who worked in IT support. And he was like, I was going to ask you a question. How would I transition from IT support to DevOps? But he's like, just because I was on this call where someone spoke about how they came from a completely non-tech background to DevOps, I realized
the question was redundant.
He's like, I can't ask you that question.
To ask the question.
So the representation was important. The first 10 students, from a business perspective, I'd say was driven from a webinar. So that was something we actually planned. It was quite a big thing for us because it was us coming out of our shell, being in public, which was quite uncomfortable for a lot of us at the time. However, we had immense confidence that we know what we're doing and we've delivered to people before. So that's what made us have that confidence that we could actually deliver on this promise we're making. Super cheap, by the way, back then. Should I say what it was back then? The price? Yeah, it was like £600 from what I remember for the year access entirely.
Huh?
Yeah. No, actually, sorry. Before that, it was even cheaper. It was about $50 a month. Like, there's still someone to this day on my community that pays 50. You know, the brother messaged me. He's like, I feel bad. Let me pay more. He's like, I'm still here. Like, he's like, if this is an issue, let me pay more. He's like, he's seeing like what's of course there's
Habibi,
more
we
things.
talked about the grifters and stuff. This is the grifter. We found the grifter of Coderco.
Yeah.
Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. But still, he still had more heart than the other grifters to say, hey, let me at least pay up, yani.
Just make it proportional.
So $50 a month.
$50 a month was what it started as.
Allahumma barik.
Some people got the craziest ROI of their life.
Ya sheikh. Makes complete. I mean, first of all, makes complete sense data-wise why you would stay, yani. But by the way, I didn't even have to say to Suad, yani. He started saying it himself. He said, Ibrahim, I was asking myself if I should remain, yani, there after I land my role because technically I reached my goal. Because one misconception I had, I was thinking, how can he have such a low churn rate when people actually land the role?
Yeah.
And like, Habibi, like face value, I would say, yeah, Sheikh, I'm desperate.
Yeah.
I need to have a role. I need to have a high paying role. I need to have a high paying tech role because that's all the jam and buzz.
Yeah.
And I get it, and then khalas, I would say, Habibi, Jazakallah khair, Barakallah feek, I'm leaving.
That's what you think.
Yeah, but people still stay.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I heard him, I was going to recommend him and say, the highest, I remember from our conversation, the highest ROI you have is like people upskilling themselves as already existing engineers, right? Yeah. And he tells me from himself, he said, Ibrahim, now after landing the role, I am more than certain that I'm going to stay. How do you nurture that?
I don't even tell people this at the beginning. I don't even tell them, this is a journey you're going to go through. I don't tell you, you're going to be here for another few years. I say, look, this is the 1 year plan. This is what it is. Come, and people are shocked at this churn rate because once people get a job, why would they stick around?
What guarantees do you give them? Lifetime access?
I don't even tell them. I don't even tell them that, there's people that are going to stay here for years and years that have been paying for more than 1 year now. I just say, look, I know they're going to go through the journey. And because I focus on the fulfillment side so much, I know it's going to be irrational for you to leave. It's going to be irrational. You got 3 live technical sessions a week. You're getting answers, that you might be experiencing problems in your career. You get these Q&A sessions.
They will get more help there than they will get in the actual job, by the way.
Yeah. And you're getting all of this extra support. When you join, you're going to be like, I don't know how to do my career without this. This is like, it's like going to the gym. Someone might sign up and say, oh, you know what? I'll sign up for the 6-month membership. I want to get a 6-pack 1 year. I want to get into good shape. And then they realize this is a continuous improvement journey with my career. I want to keep developing. I got this body in shape that I wanted, but now I need to maintain it. In fact, I value the gym even more now that I'm in shape.
What a beautiful analogy. I've never seen it that way, subhanAllah. And you're absolutely right. So let me...
But
actually, no, I want you to elaborate more. Please continue.
No, there's one thing that you could have actually nitpicked about me and my program.
Why?
When you mentioned anomalies.
Okay.
Earlier. You're well within your right to also say these people are coming from completely non-technical backgrounds.
Yes.
Some of them dropped out in school. Some of them aren't doing well. Some of them failed. Mm-hmm. What makes my program the acceptable place for the anomaly? Because whoever is in Coderco that has landed a job is an anomaly. So what makes that the acceptable place?
It's very honest of you to raise that objection for yourself. So my question is, what would you answer someone who would say that?
I would say the focus on fulfillment that I kind of tied back to earlier ties so deep in trying to compensate to make sure the anomaly is now the norm. So I know that you're working in customer service, you failed in school, all the odds are against you for the rest of your life. You're joining Coda Co. The likelihood is you should fail, statistically speaking. You should fail.
Yes.
I make it my personal mission to offset all of that and try and give you a runway to make sure you succeed. So, for example, you've probably never spoken to corporate recruiters before. That's going to be a bottleneck you experience, a barrier. Yeah. You might learn all the technical stuff. I'm on the phone to the recruiter. They ask me these questions. They're not putting me forward for the interview. I create a module, how to talk to a recruiter, how to handle recruiter conversations. Here you go. Here's the module. Or what if they ask you what salary you're on or things like that, you now can ask about the budget for the role, how to have these conversations that I don't need to do all of this extra stuff. I can just teach you the tech stuff and here's the projects.
You even go as far to teach people how to engage in LinkedIn.
Exactly. I got entire
no one does that.
I got an entire module on that, right? Because I'm so fixated on making sure that I create a pathway for the anomalies in order to standardize things and give them a good shot at life that they typically haven't gotten. That is what changes everything. Because I'm adopting a level of responsibility that I don't need to. Like right now, I can be transparent here. One thing that I'm focusing on from a fulfillment perspective, and you're probably thinking, yeah, Sheikh, enough fulfillment. But one thing that I'm focusing on is how to actually make people more accountable. So I'm looking at potentially investing in ways for them to have to report to someone daily or weekly about the work that they're currently doing. Every individual, right? Thinking about systems that I could put in place in order to closely be on top of them. Now, again, that's not my responsibility. I don't need to make sure that you're doing the work that you should be doing.
So much more work for you.
I don't need to stalk your percentage completion on your classrooms. Mm-hmm. That's not the point of this. In fact, that's not what I signed up for. But because I want to make sure that you don't fall off on this, just like everything else in your life that you've quit when it got hard, just like everything else that you've given up on, there's a reason why you haven't succeeded and you're here now. How can we enable you to succeed? How can we make this the place where even the person that typically has no hope left on anything else, this is something realistic, not a dream you're being sold?
So this is what fulfillment first looks like. In this case, Murrad, what would you say to a listener who has a skill but not really sure if they should be building in public? What do you say to them?
I think it's definitely worth building in public because that's one of the best ways to get feedback. It's not necessarily going to be perfect straight away. Operate with a level of ihsan with your work and also be ready to make mistakes and not be orientated around being perfect. There's things that I've got wrong that I've learned along the way. There's things that I've, if I've done anything wrong, I'm happy to do whatever I can do to fix it. Be it alhamdulillah, I haven't had scenarios where people are asking for refunds and things like that. And a lot of business owners come to me with these problems. And they're like, oh, how do you deal with chargebacks? What? Like, I don't deal with chargebacks. How do you deal with people requesting refunds? I don't deal with people requesting refunds. The only time I actually dealt with a refund request was recently, where one brother completed and went into the next year. So it automatically deducted the money. And he messaged me, he's like, bro, I had a great experience. I landed my job. Things are great. But currently, I'm not really focusing on things like this. My work currently is overwhelming. The money got taken out without me realizing that I had to cancel, and it's a yearly subscription. Is it okay if you could refund me? I was like, yeah.
Beautiful.
And other people around me were like, why would you do that? And I said, what? Yeah, it's like,
of course,
as a business, you're expecting that money. It's their responsibility to cancel. You're well within your right to not refund that.
You are.
And I was like, nah, it doesn't feel right. I was like, that's a no-brainer for me. So operating with that approach, I think, like, mitigates so much problems. Build in public. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because if you do, just have full confidence that you're gonna be the one to rectify it. You're happy to rectify it. Scope creep. right? With your projects, when clients are introducing new things, we run into those issues as you probably experience. You have to be fully confident in your ability that, okay, we're going to fix this, or we didn't deliver on this deadline. Here's what we're going to do to make it better. And a lot of people respect that. They don't expect perfection. Some people might do, but a lot of people will respect the effort that you put in. If they feel like that's been done, then you're good. Where a lot of people go wrong is when, again, the grifting. They portray something, they don't deliver on that, and they see things in a very narrow lens where it's like, oh, well, you bought it.
Yeah.
It's not to do with me.
You built in public. What did it cost you?
My mental sanity, probably. I think building in public, the pressure was insane because I have over 940 members, which means I have over 940 people that are well within their right to criticize my program.
Allahumma zid wa barik.
So that puts an immense pressure. And especially in a world where negativity is easy to provide feedback on than positivity, right? You know, if you go to a restaurant, you had a bad experience, you're more likely to leave a negative review than if you had a good experience. You'll just be like, yeah, I paid for that. That's the food that I got. Yeah. You generally, a lot of people won't go out their way to give positive feedback. So I think constantly having that pressure of all these people well within their right to critique me. You know, if I was really this dodgy person, or if my program was just a bunch of nonsense, they're well within commenting all over my social media and flooding it, you know? And I never want to operate in that performative way. Yep. And I tackled these things head on. Maybe it takes a psychological toll that is a bit unhealthy, where I do take it personally if anyone says anything negative about my program, because I'm putting the effort in. Now, if you're within the community, I love it if you have anything negative to say. And it's frustrating because I have all of these testimonial calls. I got a playlist on YouTube. And one of the questions I always ask people is like, what could we do better? And they're like, oh. I'm like, I need something.
I hate the position that I'm in. Everyone loves the work I do.
No, but
only.
No, but I do get hate from people that are not in the program. Like, I would experience that.
I see that, by the way.
I would experience that, which can be frustrating at times, but it's natural, especially when you're opposing a lot of limiting beliefs that people have.
Yes.
It comes with the game. So once I started to kind of embrace it, I know that the social proof there just offsets a lot of it. Come to terms with that.
I can imagine embracing it goes without saying, because like you said, you've built this insensitivity to perceived negativity. The thing is, we love feedback.
Yeah.
Whatever is perceived as negative, you do your absolute best to just extract the core value from it and then selfishly apply it on yourself or people to just build a net positive impact. So it makes complete sense why you would be resistant to, well, whatever nonsense people are spewing, right?
But it stems from somewhere that is actually important.
Which is
healthy skepticism.
Yeah.
And a trauma response because of the nonsense out there. So if I take it too personally, that will be me actually not having an objective lens.
Okay.
I'm just the next person that they scrolled on.
Yeah.
They've had so many other people that said, hey, I've got this software engineering bootcamp, but their LinkedIn doesn't show any software engineering jobs. Oh, I've done this. Oh, I could help you break into this. Oh, I'm an expert in AI, or I'm an expert in this, but they've never worked a machine learning job in their life, or they've never built a AI product before. They couldn't tell you what supervised learning and unsupervised learning is. They've never fine-tuned a model. We live in a space where it's just about saying some high-level stuff that is a nice buzzword, put an ad behind it, and it doesn't matter what your actual accolades are or your legitimacy in the space.
Correct.
And that is something that has burnt so many customers. In fact, it burns me. And the reason why I like, bro, if I lose it all, if I lose it all mentally, you're just gonna see back-to-back videos of me exposing everyone.
I'll tell you what,
and I've lost it. And just message me and say, Murrad, I understand how you feel. Chill out. You'll see back, because you know why?
I won't do that, by the way. You know why? Have you seen Family Guy? Peter Griffin, he had this show. Do you know what grinds my gears?
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to join you. We're going to create a new show. Do you know what grinds my gears? Yeah.
But it's real people's lives. So, of course, it's going to... Because I will get people that have done a course elsewhere, that have invested a huge amount of money, that would have been neglected, that would have been like, oh, the person stopped responding, I experienced this. They now
I know some of your members have had previous experiences.
Yes.
SubhanAllah.
And they've had the previous experiences in certain places, and then they come and join mine, and then they're like, oh my gosh, you know, I've experienced this, I've landed a job, I've got what I wanted. Of course, I'm going to have personal resentment to those individuals.
Of course you should.
Because I'm like, you're not the problem.
Yeah. You have people joining with their shields up already.
Yeah. And I'm telling my students and my members, you're not the problem. Like, a lot of the time, the course is the problem. A lot of course sellers want to blame the individuals for not putting the work in. Or, you know, if they put the work in, they would have succeeded. BS.
Complete BS.
And if they're not putting the work in, that means you're not facilitating an environment for them to put the work in. So how about you help them put the work in?
Thing is, Murrad, I want to ask you a question. I feel like it answers itself, but to the heck with it, I'm going to ask it anyway. You're describing for you and for the team behind Coderco, for example, or anyone that is building anything in public that is qualitative and that is driven by excellence and craftsmanship. It sounds like a very tough and boring and requiring process.
Yeah.
And many people would wish that there was a shortcut they could take. Has there been any part in your journey where you just wish that, you know what, I wish I could just take this shortcut and just skip through this?
Yeah, reviewing people's CVs, reviewing people's projects.
So why don't you take a shortcut, man?
Because I just feel like I'm going to give them the best feedback for that. I can't get someone from Fiverr to do it. They might get good. I could give them a framework that give certain bits of advice. In fact, I've tried in certain scenarios where other people might fill in certain areas as you scale. But I just always end up being the one there that's like back on another call with the individual at 2 a.m. Be like, yeah, you could improve these areas as well. Or this could also be done. If the shortcut is the expense of one person not landing a job that they could have landed, I won't take it.
Okay, I want to address something you said before. And it's something I'm having trouble accepting. There was a video that you posted where you were talking about like the lies that the younger folks are getting, right? Mm. And by the way, I have to agree with you to the thing. First of all, the two of us, number one, as human beings, number two, as professionals in the tech space, albeit in different scopes, right? Ideally, we shouldn't agree with each other because that is where we learn. And that is where we grow, right? Yes. So, which is why I hate that I agree with the vast majority of things you're saying, right? But when I find points of disagreement, that's where I'm happy because I know I'm going to be learning something, right?
I love it as well.
And I can see that with you, right? I have to tell you something. There's one thing I'm having trouble accepting. You mentioned that there's a lie that is being told that comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah. And
even though I'm not necessarily in full agreement with that statement, I'm having my problems with the idea of comparing yourself to people. Definitely a big problem with that, as a matter of fact. So I'm very interested to hear your take on this because isn't it more about the calibration of that comparison? And if not, or if yes, could you expand? Why is comparison so important? Because you phrased it. If I hope I understood it correctly. Please correct me if I didn't. You presented it as a necessity even for development.
Yep.
And I'm coming from a framework where it's problematic. Please expand on this.
I believe comparison is not the thief of joy. Okay. Comparing outputs without comparing inputs is the thief of joy. It's not comparison within itself.
No, you're going to have to expand on this.
So this is where comparison can be both healthy or unhealthy. depending on what you're comparing. Most people compare the outputs without comparing the inputs. So if I see someone and I'm at home and my situation isn't great, and I see this random individual driving a Lamborghini, I just see the output. I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything about his inputs and anything that I could take away. That is where it's now harmful. Let's say you're a professional now in your space. Let's say there's another project manager that wants to move out here and wants to make hijrah. He can look at your outputs and can also compare your inputs. What have you done in your career? What skills have you developed? And he could take away useful things based on the comparison of inputs in order to reach that desired output. You're getting compared, whether you like it or not.
That is correct.
In every step of your life.
Yes.
Be it when you go to an interview, you're getting compared relative to other candidates. In fact, comparison matters more than your individual performance.
Okay.
The reason why I say that is because even if you don't perform as well as you could have, if other candidates performed worse, you'll get chosen for that job.
And the mere comparison is going to help you with
and that mere comparison is what's going to get you through the door.
Because you'll have more data to present.
Because from a hiring manager perspective, you need someone, you've gone through X amount of candidates that have been forwarded, and from that shortlist, you were better than others. That relativity is what gets you the job. But you might have not performed the best that you could have. In fact, there might have been another candidate that is better than you that didn't outreach effectively and didn't get to that position to be interviewed. So if there was a better candidate, then the comparison would have been an issue, even if you performed the exact same way.
SubhanAllah.
So a lot of the time you're being compared to things, even your grades in school, they get standardized across how other people performed relative in the country. You don't just get a fixed mark of this percentage means this grade. Even in university, they always standardize, these grade boundaries and things like this. Now, the point is, where comparison can be unhealthy is if you're just comparing a random individual's output without having any reference point to their inputs in order for you to take away anything useful.
Yeah.
But if someone comes up to you, as I gave that example, they're a project manager, they have a similar level of experience that you do in your field, they want to relocate here, and they might be in the tech space as well, and they could take away a few things that you might have actually done, or, get those useful bits of your input, that output comparison no longer becomes healthy.
You know what? I love that answer. And it even helps me reshape the way I see certain things. I've had a problem with particularly comparison because as much as I tell people to not compare output unjustly, something I've said multiple times, be it in short clips or even episodes, I found myself inadvertently doing that because, look,
social media.
Of course, bro. Of course.
Yeah.
110% social media. I mean, look, do you know what grinds my gears? The thing is, look, at this point now, I'm 46 episodes into the Barakah Blueprint. Okay? I'm putting out content consistently.
Yeah.
I'm following the playbook.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Everything should be going my way. And the thing is, subhanAllah, even saying this and having this mindset, instead of trying to diagnose the problem as I want to, I inadvertently put myself in this, how do you call it? Entitled position.
Yes.
As if I'm entitled success.
Yeah.
By any way, right? But the thing is, subhanAllah, I have to agree with you 100% even. 1,000% even, I should say, because comparison of input is very important. I, in my position, Ibrahim, who's trying to build a successful, undoubtedly inevitable brand, okay? Because I firmly believe that everyone needs the Barakah Blueprint.
Yeah.
The blueprint for a blessed life and afterlife. I think it's highly crucial that everyone has it, right? How am I going to do that if I cannot compare what successful input looks like? That makes complete sense. I have to agree with you, subhanAllah. There's one thing that you said as well, Murrad. I feel like, by the way, I feel like an MI5 investigator just saying this. At this day, you said, I'm just going through
what? I
quotes.
actually love the fact that you've looked into this and you've formed your opinions around this, because these are things that are subjective. So
Yes.
I like the idea of you challenging me on this.
But the thing is, why am I doing this, Murrad? Why I want to do this is because I don't just want to challenge the perception of people that are watching this, or even the two of us as participants in this conversation. I seriously want to understand. Murrad, this is new for me. All of this that I'm doing, God is my witness. I'm building in public in some aspects, and I'm scared to build other things in public, right? If I'm going to be completely candid with you. All of this is new, right? And I realize, subhanAllah, the best and the most healthy way forward is just be yourself, man. Just address things as they are, you know? So speaking of which, on the 7th of January, seriously, Murrad, there's something that you said and something you kept saying. Something you said in our past episode. Something you said in recent reels. Something you keep repeating and coming back to. Everything revolving around the skill passport. By the way, I even coined that term, subhanAllah, for my school community that is now like reshaping especially. And it's about building your skill passport, because I have to agree with you on this, subhanAllah. Until recently, I actually had some sort of a paradigm shift in this particular focus. You talked about a scenario where people are saying the job market is cooked, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I told you as before in our conversation. I wanted to address this as well. And you were saying that it's very important to not be reliant on the job market and to instead rely on the skills that you're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
Makes complete sense. The reason why I wanted to address this is, so the gap with the existing development in, some would say AI, I would say AGI, artificial general intelligence, right? Many skills are, I'm not gonna say they're replacing people necessarily, even though they literally are, right? They're making the skill acquisition simpler, right?
Yes.
So the question is, how would someone who's already scared of the job market, right? How would they navigate through that? I'm asking you specifically why, because the developments in the space of AGI has heavily reworked the way many people, myself included, view coding.
Yes.
The way we arrive at products or understanding and even interpretation of code.
POCs, design.
Oh,
everything.
yes.
Yep.
Everything has changed.
Yep.
So how do I navigate through this? And why on earth would I build a coding skill set?
It's a very good question. I think I wouldn't build a coding skill set.
This is where it gets very interesting. Continue.
I personally wouldn't focus on building a coding skill set for those typical front-end roles, JavaScript developers, pure developer roles. I wouldn't play that game. And I wouldn't have played that game before AI. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't have gone for those roles before AI if I come from a non-technical background. Okay. You will be competing with every computer science graduate that's struggling to land a job on the market.
True.
I follow the path of least resistance, as you could tell.
Oh, yes.
Be it with business, be it with work, be it whatever it might be.
Least وجع راس يا شيخ.
Least وجع راس. And I think this fear of AI is almost a mirror of what the fear of automation looked like not that long ago.
True.
Where people are doing password resets daily and then someone's written a bit of code that automates it. And you're like, oh my gosh, my IT support role's gone. I'll say you have to come to terms with AI just changes the skill set that's actually needed on the market. Now, if you were someone that was going to do whatever you needed to do to position yourself as the best person on the job market, AI is just a natural transition. It's not a fear. I went from DevOps to more MLOps. My roles are heavily machine learning oriented, right? From using vector DBs to working with embeddings to working with search models, re-ranking models, using VLLMs, hosting things on Kubernetes. Like my role has changed to a degree. However, the common denominator is there. where you need to understand infrastructure. AI is being hosted on infrastructure and things like that. The job market, to be honest, even before AI, there was issues. People experienced layoffs. People try to blame things on AI at times as a cop-out, but then, you find out from companies that it was actually just an excuse that they were trying to leverage for financial reasons. If you still focus on that skills passport, AI is just an additional stamp on your passport. That's all it is. You don't need to throw the entire passport away. It doesn't mean that your passport's no longer valid.
Mm-hmm.
But it means that you're going to have to get a new stamp soon.
Speaking of
passports get renewed, as you know.
Oh, yeah, of course. And speaking of renewals, right? The reason I wanted to address this is because many skills are being commoditized by AI. Yeah. And the thing is, as you mentioned, subhanAllah, and Allahumma barak, you had the understanding even prior to all of this development that you wouldn't want to enter or build a skill set that is specifically and corely and solely around front-end design or front-end development, right? Mm-hmm. And the one thing that is being heavily commoditized, if any code building, and trust me, as a vibe coder, right? I would know this very well. Everything has literally shifted pace in terms of front end, right? But that tells me something as well. It tells me that there are some things that AI is, at least for now, is not commoditizing, right? Like, for example, you're mentioning to me that your role has shifted in terms of not only the responsibility that you're dealing with, but also the skills that you have to stay on top of as a professional to be able to continue your excellence in craftsmanship. And Murrad, let's be honest, okay? For people like you and I, and at least I pretend to be a person that cares about excellence in craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Right? For someone like you, when you see the development that you're seeing, I can imagine if it's not the first thing, it's one of the first things you're thinking about, which is how can I use this to my advantage to make myself stand out and to make myself perform even better.
Yep.
طيب, okay. Someone like you looks at this. I want to ask you, what can AI not commoditize? What soft skills can make this particular individual stand out and say, you know what? I'm not scared of this. I'm not scared of this development. I'm using it to my advantage. The room even shook from the question.
AI is coming to replace the room.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you.
I think it's very hard to give an absolute definitive answer of what AI will not be able to do. And I think it would be disingenuous. It would just be assumptions.
I think, okay, let's leave that aside. I think it's very, very difficult to do that because it changes per the second. Dude, I think Mythos is going to be released any second, right? It's going to be a problem. No, but seriously, I want to look at you.
Soon.
You see?
In the cloud.
You see?
That's where it's going to be.
Kodoko is going to have its own code model. All right. No, seriously, jokes aside. I completely agree with you. I think answering that question at face value or just at that is going to be very difficult.
I hate people that answer that question. That's why I was reluctant.
Then let me tell you, okay.
Because I know leading machine learning engineers in the space, leading AI engineers that wouldn't dare to come out and say AI is going to do this, or AI is not going to be able to do this, or AI can definitely do this. Yet a random vibe coder or random individual will come online, post themselves as an expert and say, this is what AI is doing.
As a vibe coder, I disagree. I'm joking, sorry. No, but Murrad, look, seriously. I think you and I can agree that being or having this, what's it called? I think fine-tuning your taste and your judgment can definitely make you stand out. But how do you do that? How do you make sure that you're on top of the undoubtedly undeniable skill of having sharp judgment and qualified taste?
It's never changed for me, even with AI. Okay. Even with AI, the same method that I used to have in order to develop the correct skills in the job market hasn't changed. I do the same thing, Ibrahim. I look at job descriptions. I look at the highest paying job descriptions. I look at the common denominator of skills that they look for, build those skills in those particular areas, and they tend to be AI focused. I would have done it even if it was called something else, bro. I would have done whatever I needed to do to get the most in-demand stamp on my passport. It just happens to be AI and machine learning. Am I passionate about it? Probably not as passionate as other people are. Am I now in a position where the job market's been the best thing ever for me in my career? By far. There's two sides of the coin to this job market. It's like an iceberg. Mm-hmm. You see all of this, the tip of the iceberg is what you visually see. Everyone's complaining about the job market. It's horrible. They're producing stats. Me and the same people within my network have never seen so many high-paying roles ever in this space. I've never been reached out for so many high-paying roles. Do you think if AI wasn't about, people would consider paying a DevOps engineer $300,000-$400,000 to host AI infrastructure? And do you think all these frontier labs that I'm getting calls from their recruiters and things like that, I did all the hard yards to position myself in a way where this is now just the byproduct. Where, okay, it happens to be AI. Even if it was called EA or whatever would have appeared that is now hot in the market, I would have learned it. I did it all the time. I went from DevOps to data platform because data became a big thing for a period of time. Data warehouses, how you manage your data, to then now ML ops. Bro, and then it's like agent ops. Because agents is the big thing. Gen AI. I'm back on my computer learning what I need to do because I'm seeing these Gen AI jobs paying a lot. I will do whatever I need to do. Whatever's the common denominator for the hottest skills that employers want, I will be building those projects. And I'm ready for that day those interviews come.
Murrad, I have a total of 3 questions left. And I've taken a lot of your time, akhi. So
pleasure.
I ask Allah to bless you, Ya Rab. And I thank you tremendously for this. One thing I am trying to do a lot with myself, and I want to do it with the people I respect and love, is muraja'a, review. I have 2 questions, and I have a favor to ask you at the end.
Okay.
Question number 1. How do you keep your niyyah clean as a public figure and as someone who builds in public when the internet rewards the exact opposite?
I think complete content in whatever Allah decrees from the outcome of good intention. If that means I'm under a bridge with a broken umbrella and I'm there barefoot, it is what it is. I'm not going to compromise that at all. So I'm content with the output. The output happened to look good. It might not look good for others that are doing the right things, but being content with whatever Allah's decreed is something that I came to terms with quite early on with what I did, and I'm not changing. I'm not going to change my intentions around what I have going on. And also, questioning it, I think, is a big part. That's a way to keep your intentions clean and kind of be aware of your sincerity. I constantly question, am I just a scammer? Like, it sounds insane. Like, you're probably thinking, Murrad, you have one of the best programs ever out there, and you've helped so many people. Wallahi, there's days I go through thinking, are people getting their money's worth? Regularly. There's nights I go through, I'm like, oh, bro, is it even right? Should I just make it all free? Is my intention even right because I'm taking money for this? Should I just make it all free? But then, but if you make it free, people aren't going to be free. You've already done that previously, Murrad. You had a non-profit free community. No one turned up to your workshops.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
You've already tried this. And I have to tell myself.
Yeah.
I have to have those conversations. Like you were about to tell me, these are conversations I need to battle with mentally to review my sincerity. I got to think to myself, okay, what makes me different? What makes me think? What makes me actually know what I'm talking about? Versus other people that think they do and they could sell a similar boot camp. What makes me actually know that I'm not that person? All of these questions play on my mind. People around me probably think I'm crazy because they're like, bro, the stuff you've done, I don't know how you doubt yourself or question yourself. Because what I do is driven through a sincerity perspective, it naturally comes with questions. That's just part of the game of trying to be sincere.
We talked about Murrad, the public builder. What do you want to build in people?
I sadly don't think I could offer that. And I don't think I'm the most qualified person to offer that. But what would I want to build in people?
That is a pseudo-philosophical way of me asking the question, what legacy do you want to leave behind, by the way? I just want it to sound cool, guys. I mean, we had a moment, so I mean, like...
That's a good one. Well, I think I think... I don't agree with that. I think it's deeper than that. Than just your legacy.
Really?
Yeah. Because your legacy can be something that people know you for or that you've left behind, but legacy still has a selfish attachment to it because it's orientated around you. But if I want to build something for you, or what do I want to build in people, right? I take that more from a perspective of what do I want you to have for your life? Nothing to do with me. Does that make sense? And the things that were coming to my head was like a sense of fulfillment, a sense of purpose, a sense of confidence. That's nothing to do with my legacy, bro. That's what I just want for you, irrespective of whatever I do. Which I feel like I've seen from some of my students, which is awesome. Like, I feel like I've seen some of them go from boys to men. And I feel like...
That guy goes boys to men.
I had to. Yeah, but even there's a lot of sisters in my program. I'm sorry, sisters. But yeah. But I've seen a lot of people develop in many ways where like they're like, oh, Murrad, I can't even sit with my friends the same way, I can't even get up to the stuff I used to do.
It do be like that, huh?
Or like, yeah, I have a different perspective. I want to do better for myself. Why am I just here wasting time? Or I need to be productive. Sometimes I get worried because I feel like I've turned people into machines, And I'm like, bro, you're 19. You can have a social life, bro, But just that self-improvement, I don't want to offer it in a cliche way with a mindset course or mentality course or things like that. I actually want you to take away tangible skills that has that wider impact. So whatever fulfills you, whatever makes you content with who you are, I just want people to have that fulfillment. If I'm able to build some sort of fulfillment where you're proud of the person you are, that would be awesome. And for a lot of people, that is a job. A lot of people stuck in customer service or they're dead-end roles, and that corporate job gives them a sense of identity. Like, I've done something and applied myself to something. And I think the question that you asked me probably put things into perspective that I never thought about of why I'm so motivated to do that. Because it's not just a salary. It's not just a job. It's, to a lot of people, fulfillment, that they've actually been able to achieve something that they put themselves to. And if that was materialized in other things, irrespective of careers, whatever it might be, I think that is pretty cool.
I look forward to the next stories that come after this episode. And 5 minutes ago, this guy said, sadly, I don't think I can give a response. 5 minutes later, response later, huh?
Neurodivergent tech brains, bro.
Murrad, may Allah bless you, bro. Thank you
Barakallah
for
feek.
blessing the Barakah Blueprint again.
Barakah is all on from you, bro.